Hey everyone, I'm Casey Oakley. I'm here with my dear friend today, Allison McElroy. This is the inaugural 3W podcast, which stands for the Who, What, Where. So yay, you guinea pigs out there get to partake in this today. So we're very excited. So welcome to my friend, Allison. Hey,
I am so glad to be here and be on the very first podcast.
I know. When I was sitting around trying to think, everyone's bugged us for years to do this. And so I thought, well, who should I ask? We have all these clients, all these amazing friends, but you have to roll with your cheerleaders first. So I went to my cheerleader.
Yes.
Yes. And she champions nonprofits. So it's a win-win, obviously.
It's a great fit.
So tell us about you. Who are you?
I'm Allison McElroy.
You are.
And we have always had an easy way of talking, so this should go very...
It's going to be great.
I don't know if we'll stay on topic.
Highly unlikely.
But I'm Allison McElroy, and I have a nonprofit background. I worked at Open Avenues for almost 21 years.
It's a long time.
And started their fundraising, foundation, development department. And then in 2015... I realized that I needed to care for my dad. And so I needed, I wasn't going to be able to continue a traditional job. And I knew, but I did not know what I was going to do. And I think that should be a whole podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
when you grow up, what I want to do.
Like I thought, what am I going to do? Because it wasn't like we could just decide to be a one-income family.
Right. Money pays the bills.
But I had to make a choice that I knew that I was already struggling juggling all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And
which
so,
we're going to tap on.
Yes. And so I didn't know like how I would then add my dad and all his appointments and getting him settled and finding a place to live and caretakers and all that stuff. So I knew that it was probably time. I also knew, which is a whole other podcast, that I was about to turn, I was about to turn 45.
Okay. I'm way past that. But okay.
And I thought I've been here for almost 21 years.
Time.
And in any job, that's a long time.
Yes.
But in the nonprofit world, it seemed at that time everyone else was moving and jumping to better their career.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Zero.
But I kept wanting to finish those goals there. And I was so passionate about Open Avenue, still am. The mission was important to me. And I had goals, and we had achieved so many of them, but I wanted to achieve a couple more. And so I think I kept staying, and just something about, something was whispering at me, maybe it's time. And then my dad tells me, I think I need to move to Rogers.
Fine.
And it was a sign. And so there's a lot of topics we could discuss with all that. But my fundraising friends, there's a handful of them that said, we know what you can do. Your office has been an open door to all of us.
All the time.
20 years.
Yes.
Why don't you just become a consultant and then it'll be flexible with your dad? And I thought, oh my goodness, I bet I could do that.
Because you've already been doing it for so long.
And do I know anything about starting my own business? No.
Do any of us?
No.
Don't.
Do I know any more now, in 2024?
I take the trash out.
Yeah. So I decided give it a try. And I did do some interviews during that time because I honestly went thinking that will be good practice to help me learn, because I had been out of that loop for 20 years.
Absolutely. I don't know how to make a resume.
So I think even going on those interviews, I was in the back of my head thinking, this isn't the right fit. I think I do need to just do my own thing. So in 2016, Dad had gotten here, was settled. So in March of 2016, I just put the shingle out there that said the McElroy Group.
Here I am.
And it was just me and my little dog at the time. And it just sort of took off.
As you have always been integrated in the community.
So yes,
had built-in people.
I did. And I can tell you those same concepts of being a fundraising development officer at an organization. Same thing when you're starting your own thing. It's the same, even with clients. It really, and I found that if you treat clients like you do donors, It's a win-win.
It's all about relationships.
It's all about relationships.
Yes.
and how you make people feel.
Yes.
And I've always been able to have enough. And in the lean months, I just thought, we'll get through. Somehow we'll get through.
I will hug someone else and it will all work
It'll
out.
all work out. And it just, anytime I got a little, it wasn't, blossoms and roses the whole time.
It's hard.
But when there were some of those lean months, I thought, it'll be okay. I'll get there. I'll figure it out.
Yes.
And so here I am, still trugging along.
And then it leads you to the pretend work-life balance, which is completely fake news, but that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes. Still haven't figured that out.
No. So Allison, you have 2 kids. You have 2 boys.
Uh-huh.
I have 2 boys.
Yes.
So I'm following in your footsteps. And I'm going to look at the camera right now.
Okay.
Many of y'all don't know, but we have like a super funny story about how we met. So I met Allison at an event in 2008. She was extremely pregnant, having her youngest like within the next week or 2. Fast forward to like 2 years later, I'm ridiculously pregnant, about to have my first. And she says to me, "How are you having him?" And being the highly anxiety-ridden human that I am, I said, "I'm having a C-section." And what did you say to me right after that?
I said, and to all of you having a C-section out there, I said to her, I know this is going to be weird and a little personal, but as soon as you are allowed to stand all the way up after your C-section, a dear friend, Shelley Ball, gave me that advice when I was having Cooper, because it turned into a C-section situation. Wasn't planned, but it turned into one. And she said, if you are having a C-section, you stand all the way up. As soon as they tell you it's time to get up and walk around, don't hunch over. Stand all the way up, and it's going to hurt like nobody's business, but you've just got to do it. If you do that, you'll be able to care for the baby and move around the very next day. And she was right.
It's so true.
And so,
it hurts like hell. It is real painful.
So I was getting all up in your business.
You were. I loved it.
Wanted you to know, and I have told everybody that has a C-section, and most of the people that have done it have been,
it's about
just like you say. Thank you for telling me that.
Yes.
Barrett was born like the week before Thanksgiving. So I did it again, and the second time was harder because I knew what was about to happen.
Oh,
the first
sure.
time I was like,
she said stand something like that.
But I was able to Christmas shop next week.
Yeah.
He was not even because I...
Oh, I totally paid like 2 weeks of like, what, you can't drive for 2 weeks or whatever. And I'm like, no, I got things to do. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like driving in a week. They're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, my friend Allison gave me really great advice to like rip the crap out of my stomach and stand up. So here I am.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So, we've been connected with our 2 boys.
Yes.
And with our C-section story.
And nonprofit.
And nonprofit. So it was meant for us to be together.
So tell me about your work-life balance, because you're a business owner.
Yes.
So that means, we have to pay the taxes, pay the Secretary of State that we don't know we have to pay every now and then.
Exactly.
And the insurance and take the trash out. And, I've got to do payroll or love on my clients. But I have a husband and I have a family and I have one kid in college, one kid at LSU. Yes. And the other is in high school. Is he a freshman?
Yes.
Okay, right. So that's my new adventure next year.
Yeah, got a freshman and then a sophomore at LSU. And
you're still an Uber for the youngest one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was this morning. He overslept.
Of course, through
the whole morning off.
But on his own?
He does.
Oh,
He's really good at it. He just... It was horrendous through elementary school.
Okay.
But somewhere in middle school, he became in control of that. And he had, I will say, he's mastered it. Okay. Today was an exception.
Okay, I'm going to have to fix that.
But there was like the screaming fits. We got to get to school. That all happened all through Reagan Elementary.
Okay.
They'd see us pulling in on 2 wheels, and I would still be preaching.
She's on wheels.
Preaching with my... white knuckle, why? If you just get on, we gotta beat the traffic. And then somehow, when we got to Oakdale, he just took control. And maybe it was because he was in basketball and he had things.
Responsibilities?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, and so he really shifted then.
Yes.
And so he's really good. And so his alarm, I don't know if he's growing used to it, but I think this morning neither one of us heard his alarm this morning. Usually both of us do. But the other thing that's tricky is my husband works for Walmart, so there's not as much flexibility.
No.
So when my dad did pass away, he passed away in 2022.
And you had Bill's farewell tour.
And I had Bill's farewell tour, which is a whole other podcast.
I have 100%.
So many subjects.
Ways to celebrate.
Ways to celebrate a life. But I think there was a part of me that thought, well, should I get back into a job, or should I just keep doing the McElroy group?
Doing the McElroy.
And I felt like the McElroy group was...
That was your gift from your dad.
Yeah.
Somewhat. That we didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the flexibility is only helping me juggle the boys' schedules.
Yes. Does it make you a better wife and a better mom?
I think it does. I think where I fall, though, is the structure. I think I'm like my youngest son. He loves structure.
I do too.
And I think that the flexibility sometimes I get in my own way with.
Does it make you lazy a little bit?
Not
like
lazy.
If you have a pretend day off, which as a business owner, do you ever really? But you know what I mean?
Right. And I haven't figured out how to do that yet and stick to it. Right. I've scheduled them.
Right.
But then I feel like, oh, well, they eat. This is the only day they can eat. And
right.
I put it on the thing.
Yes.
But I think it's, how do I describe it? Like, it's not lazy. It's like unorganized or misuse of time management.
Oh, that's such a better way to say that.
Like I get lost.
I'm classify my nap last week at the end of spring break as a misuse of time.
Yes. And I've gotten to where I try to schedule a little nap. I think it's because now I'm 53.
You can.
And so sometimes I think I have to rest these muscles in order to finish.
Okay, fair.
To the finish line.
Fair.
So, and they're power naps, but they work.
Do you think so?
I think I'm doing it.
2 hours and I'm like, when are we going to bed?
Is it time to?
Is it time for the evening?
But I think that's where I wish I could get better. Is the weeks that I am structured and have everything laid.
Yes,
I am killing it,
crushing it. But you give me a 2-hour downtime, and I am like in the pantry. If
I'm in the pantry, I'm scrolling the phone, thinking, oh, I should have done this post, and then I create some kind of post and try to post, and then I think, well, didn't even make sense compared to what I was posting yesterday.
Right.
All those things.
Right.
So that's the thing. It give me a little bit of a downtime.
It doesn't.
And then it's like,
yes.
Okay, and then it's like, I just lost 2 hours.
2 hours.
I could have done if I had just laid that out or that. So that's where I wish I could get stronger. I don't want to be so scheduled that I'm rigid.
I think I'm both. Yes.
But I think when I actually map out and figure out those 2 hours, and even if I plan to just zone for 2 hours.
Do you feel like you're rushing?
Yeah. Or you mean all the time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
And then I think, what are you doing? Because you're flexible.
I don't care. I've got the deadlines. The kids have places to be. Everything is 40 minutes. We live in a traffic cone. I'm like, I am just in my road rage. It is just out of control. And we have a dear friend in common, Sister Lisa, who used to be with us at Mercy.
Yeah.
And I was on my journey to become Catholic years ago, and I was talking about having to go to confession, and she was like, oh yeah, I had to do that. And I was like, you're a sister. What could you possibly need to go to confession about? Like, you're like Jesus, the Pope, Monsignor, you. Like, we got lineage. You're good.
Yeah,
She's like,
close.
Oh, my road rage. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so great about this conversation because you are I love her. She is,
She has it.
She has road rage, and I felt so connected. I was like,
I don't have road rage.
I do.
It's, you know what I do that we are all supposed to work on, ladies and gentlemen. we have to, like, I end up thinking if I had just left 5 minutes early, like,
for sure.
This is a me problem.
Yes.
why didn't I just la la la? And so I'm trying to work on that.
School dismissal gets out a little late. I'm like, come on now, y'all said 3. Like, I'm still in Carline 306. Like, let's bust a move. And then I'm like, that's a you problem.
And
place of blame.
Sports is the worst. When practice is over at 4, it's never 4.
It's never 4.
Sometimes it's 4:30.
Oh, your kids,
so you're
like the last ones out of the locker
sitting in the thing because I think, it ends at 4 or ish. I think coaches think ish. And then the lollygagging and mine too we're always the last ones out. But anyway, that's the balance thing. I don't know if it's ever 100% achievable, but the weeks that I do well, it's because of something I do better. And that's planning.
Yes, I can see that.
And why I can't figure out how to do that every week.
Is your husband a planner?
He is. He is
2
for
planners
work.
in the family?
For work.
Oh, okay.
I think for home, he has to desensitize or rejuvenate. So he doesn't do
when I'm convinced, and I love my husband dearly, I'd rather fight with him any day than wake up next to anyone else. But he knows this. I'm sorry I throw you under the bus. It's like when he's done with work, it's like he turns into a toddler. I'm like, oh, I gotta take care of you now. I'm like, no, have a plan. Let's go. He's like, you're always in a rush. And I'm like, dude, this is the only way this boat floats.
Yeah. Our boat floats because my husband's introverted. So he doesn't want to go to all the things.
I don't know if I've ever seen him.
Yes. So I don't. We decided a long time ago, it's easier on me if I can just go do my thing and see my people.
Yes.
So, and then he says, I've had so much people. Let's try and peopled out.
That's me in December. I'm peopled out.
He's peopled out. And so he needs more that downtime. So he doesn't turn into a toddler. Now, if you give him a trip, he will plan the trip of your life.
I know. He planned the most amazing trip for you all.
That is where he takes his planning skill set and he just turns it into magic. Like,
didn't he plan at work?
Yes.
Isn't he a planner at work?
He's in event solutions at work.
Yes. So, that's a skill, especially for the magnitude that Walmart House.
Yes. So,
wow.
Anyway,
I don't know.
We're a good match. We're great partnership. We're a good match. We get a little, cheesy sometimes, but
it's okay.
We've been best friends since college. And so I think that's where
that's a big deal. We started out as friends.
And I had no idea he was the one. But anyway,
it's
Dwayne is an awesome person, and anyone will tell you he's the one. He's introverted. But if he ever is at an event, you would want to sit by Dwayne because he's not going to say the thing for the whole table or the whole universe to hear like his wife.
Yeah.
He's going to just say, and then that little row that heard it will die.
Yes.
They will all, sides will hurt. They will laugh so hard. Because
you probably shouldn't sit next to you or me or even Dwayne.
And sometimes he'll say it and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'll repeat it. He was like, I did not dream you were going to say it out loud.
Yeah. Didn't need a mic moment.
But I'm like, that was so good.
We got to share it. Yes.
So anyway, he's very funny.
Does he critique events?
He does.
What?
I didn't realize
for sure because I do, and not
last
a
couple of years. He'll say things, and I'll think I didn't even know you were paying attention to that.
Oh, for sure he is.
But then I remember that's your job.
Yes.
So of course you're paying attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, have you been to events he's organized?
Used to.
Okay.
They've changed things at work, so now outsiders, like I don't need to go to the meetings anymore, but like used to, the family could come to Saturday morning meeting. And so
were you so impressed?
So blown away. And I do get to go to shareholders.
Right.
And I'm just blown away
every
year.
That. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's okay.
Bob. And you used to plan events.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Back in the day. What was it? Spring Fling?
Spring Fling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he give you advice?
He did.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you adhere to it?
Usually I did.
Okay.
But the times it was frustrating, he knew it was out of my hands. And it was an event issue, a venue issue, or a sound issue that
what I'm hearing is you're more involved than me. Because I'm like, I hear your advice, but you're not in. Yes. It's type A control.
Yes. But, so helpful, especially in the early days when he was in Walmart television, figuring out ways to do video shoots. And that way he was more in the technical part of production. And so he was able to give great ideas about which way the video should go to show the clients working and all that. So
That's awesome.
but then event-wise, so he was like, I will go when we know the event for the next thing. I'll go so we could see what the audio and equipment should be.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that had to be helpful with spring playing.
Yes, it was. He would do the PowerPoints. He would sit at the back and work with the sound people when it was at Embassy Suite.
Yes.
And once that happened, my life was
I'm so happy
it's like
for
a
you.
fairy tale because I didn't have to stress over that. He was in control and had it because he,
I love how these things happened. They're like little God winks along the way.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about the McElroy group, because we did work-life balance, and I feel like that is highly interwoven.
Yes, it is. And especially with nonprofits, because that's where my heart is. And and I think I was always
you know you had that?
I knew that I always cared about people. And my whole life, Julie, the cruise director, when the family, my mom and dad divorced.
From Love Boat?
Yes.
Oh, I know.
Yes, Julie, I felt like I was supposed to keep everyone excited and happy. Like, yes, mom and dad are getting a divorce, but everything will be okay because we still have our mom and dad.
Yeah.
Or let's do this at Christmas. It'll be special, because we still celebrated together. Even though anyway, I've always taken that on to just how to make people feel is important to me. And I think it's because all the years, especially middle school, I learned how I felt.
Okay.
When we went from a certain kind of car to a different kind of car, and how I was treated. And when everything shifted and our status shifted, when your parents go through a divorce, some
Things change.
And I think it was like I had an aha moment, like, I see there are levels of things, and I'm not in the level I used to be in, even though I didn't quite understand it.
Yeah, that's a young age.
And I told myself at that very moment, I won't be a person that ever treats anyone like they're in a different category. And it was all back in the back of my mind, but it started then.
It's really young for that big of a reflection.
Yes. And so there were people, and I think all my high school friends would say that I didn't just run with one group. We had a very small class, but I was friends with everybody.
Right.
And which will lead to some of our next discussion
Absolutely.
too. But it's about how you make people feel.
It is.
And I just wanted them to never feel some of the things I felt when I caught on to, Mom, we don't drive an Audi anymore.
Did you have those conversations with the boys? Did you have the hard conversations?
I have not had to have the hard conversations, but there's something about boys, my two especially, looking people in the eye. And I noticed when people would greet them when you're at a door, like at childcare, and everybody's getting there for the day, and we're all rushed and crazy. I would notice there were some moms that was, and they would just be like, deer in the headlights. And then I think I've mostly talked to them, be sure and look people in the eye. It's never a bad idea to just smile at someone.
Never.
And always hold the door if you can.
Yes.
And it wasn't about chivalry. It's like all these little things make people feel good, and you want them to feel like you acknowledge their presence, And, I probably did it way to a fault. They're boys. I don't think I have to worry about them going way overboard on that, overthinking that. But I really do try to make them, acknowledge me.
I feel like
slow down.
we don't have girls. Right. But everyone says the mean girl stigma, which I get, I see, we've all seen it. But I do feel like while child rearing boys might be a smidge easier in that sense, I'm like, look, my oldest just switched from private to public this year. So we've navigated seeing a lot of different things and groups and popular kids and not popular, just all the things, right? And it's been very interesting to watch it because I grew up with it. I was public my whole life. And so I've watched it just develop, and I'm like, just go in and smile. You just don't know what you're going to be faced with or who's going to say what. There's been a lot of talk of who makes what, who's building what, and all these things at his school. And I'm like, that is highly irrelevant in 8th grade. Just smile. Right, to your point. So I do feel like, even though I say that, I contradict myself, but I do feel like rearing boys has been a smidge easier than what I envisioned rearing girls in that same stage.
And I do think God knew for me that probably I needed boys.
Oh, that's good. No, him and I are going to have a big chat when I get up there of like, I really wanted a girl. Like,
but I
was given two beautiful, healthy boys. So thank you.
And I think he knew what he was doing because I don't think I would have had a clue if I had had a girl.
No, but
and I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I was pregnant. I just my best friend had 2 girls, and 2 of my best friends had 2 girls, and so I get
here you are with the boys.
Yes, I get to live out all that with them. But I think seeing what they've gone through or things.
The hindsight. But I'm telling you right now, I wanted to be in the trenches. Like, I would still take, like, the bows and the bloomers and the hair. Yeah. Yes, I really, that. Still do, but that's okay.
Like, I think I've told you, I know we've said this at one of those early morning meetings we probably had to be at. Like, Cooper's hair, I don't think I ever brushed it. Like,
totally.
He went to school and no one cares.
Yes.
And I learned to not care.
Oh, I'm still working on that. But yes, you told me about that.
Think about the mornings we would have had to been braiding the hair. But
I know.
You're right. And then we'd have to redo it.
Yes.
And, it's so like because they're dressed and no, they didn't even match today. Okay.
Oh, see, that stresses me out. But see, I'm having to like attempt to let go-ish.
Yeah.
Because he's not in it. The oldest isn't in a uniform anymore. And I'm like, oh, my. Do we think that matches? He's like, it's fine. And I'm like, but is it?
Yeah. I've learned to do, and both of mine do their own laundry.
Oh, see, again.
Yeah. But no whole other might have.
A whole other.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't like himself up, so I'm clearly not.
Barrett has his laundry day. Like, he does his on Sundays. Impressive. And do we sort? No. I just say, throw it all in there. You're fine.
But again, this leads to your work-life balance with the McElroy group.
Oh, yeah, we did. We got off that. The McElroy group. So all the McElroy group does, it's just me. I'm the group.
I know. I love it.
But
you have a village behind you.
When I started at Open Avenues, I didn't know one thing about fundraising for nonprofits. I didn't know anything about nonprofits. I didn't know anything about real grown-up adulting.
Oh, same.
I was just flying into Rogers, newlywed, thinking, this is where we're going to live.
This is great.
And I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's all going to work itself out. It'll figure itself out.
And relationship, I met the executive director of Open Avenues through my husband, and she wasn't thinking me at all. I wasn't, she said, tell me where she worked. And we took a tour of it, and she was going to help us find where we should live. I was here for like a weekend to find a place.
From where? Where were we coming at?
Jonesboro.
Okay.
I can't believe I haven't said Jonesboro at Arkansas State Red Wolves yet.
Oh.
Wolves up. Anyway, she just like nonchalantly says, our organization is thinking about hiring a person to be a cheerleader and do like public relations and fundraising and fundraisers and awareness and just, and I thought, and she thought, yeah, I don't know how this is going to go. Anyway, fast forward, wedding happens, I move here, and I said, is that still happening? She said, yeah, they're really thinking about doing that. So I
I've
thought,
got my palms with me right now. Let's go.
oh, this looks like me. Even though I went to school to be a radio, television, or a television news anchor.
Which is perfect for this.
Yeah. That's what I really wanted to do. But that's how Dwayne and I met. He was in his job, working hard, but to get there, I saw what all he had to do. And for a newlywed and a new family, like a new relationship like that, I thought, I can't be working overnights for $2 an hour or whatever. And then ships that pass, him go to work in them. And I just thought, I just don't think I can go that route right now. And I just moved here. I don't even. And so, but I thought, that sounds like me. And what a great organization. Like when I toured it and saw these adults with different abilities doing all these different things. And I thought, I hadn't even thought of people that were different from me, that weren't going the same path, and what their families would do after high school.
Yeah. And no, it didn't dawn on me till I took a tour.
I was like, this is the most amazing organization ever. So I knew I could be a cheerleader for it. So I started learning myself. Started the McElroy group, thinking if I could just help, some organizations with that shoestring budget. We did not have a budget from my position, nothing. I sat every month and waited to see if the board voted to keep me or not.
Okay.
That's how
That's so stressful.
This was 1995. Only people that had development departments were universities and hospitals.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the small organizations around here hadn't started that. It was a mentor that board had that said, this is going to be the wave of the future. And if y'all want to be ahead.
Is that mentor still around?
He is.
Okay.
He is. His name is Jeff Hutton.
Oh, I know that name.
You do. Because Renee is his wife.
Yes, single parent.
He told that board, this is what you need to do. And he was my mentor that first 6 months or a year, telling me, you need to do this. You need to get an AFP. You need to get on committees at the chamber. You need to be in Rotary. And you need to do this. And he told them, this is all going to cost money, but you have to spend money to make money. And so he just kept telling them to hang in there.
Okay.
And then they had, I guess the majority of the board said, we need to stick with it. If we quit now, we're never going to get back here. So that's how that all got started. And I thought the McElroy group I can be that person to say,
right,
we had nothing.
Yes.
And here's little ways you can do it. But the thing that I learned with nothing, I would sit next to the University of Arkansas at a training. And maybe that day, I definitely needed every educational session. But if there was an educational session that I didn't think the title matched or whatever, I went to everything I was supposed to go to, because when you get seated next to a Sandy Edwards or a Joe Ucolano from the university, and you get to say, yeah, we're struggling with, and they say, oh, goodness, yeah, we have a marketing department, but you could just, yes, and you leave that day and think, oh my goodness, and you go back and you figure it out how you can do it. No budget, no extra help. And I thought that's the beauty of going to everything. So that's another lesson, ladies and gentlemen.
Connections.
If you don't...
Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. If you think the topic is not your topic, don't skip the thing. Go to get to be by the people. And that's the same with Rotary or anything you're involved in. Be completely plugged in.
Yes.
So I started it. I help nonprofits from everything from board training, strategic planning, one-on-one coaching, which is my favorite.
Well, amazing at it. Because you're just a cheerleader.
I just
internally
want to say, cut out all the hard stuff.
Yes.
Don't show me a strategic plan with pie charts. And
yes. Great businesses make everything real hard.
How can you get this done? And which day can you do it?
Yes.
And is it realistic or unrealistic?
Do we really need to circle back?
Yes.
I don't think we do.
No.
Let's just handle it right now.
Let's just do it right now.
Yes.
Or is this a 5-year thing or a 2-year thing? If it's 2-year, does it fit in 2027 or 2026?
I know, right? I'm like,
I've never been good at math.
What year it is?
Never been good at math. But anyway, that's McElroy Group helps nonprofits. And we try to do that. I try to do that in the most cheerleading, understanding way I can to help them see the full potential. And my biggest client right now, which I have matched up with 3W, is the Rogers Historical Museum Foundation. And
which, did you all know that there's a museum in downtown Rogers? You probably did, but have you really been? I don't know. But now Allison is like bringing them to the market. I feel like
they've been there.
Thanks.
They've been there. It is an award-winning, accredited museum in downtown Rogers. The Rogers people know about it, but lots has happened in Rogers. So if you have not been to the museum, you've got to go. And several years ago, they remodeled the Haley building, and so there's just so much to see. There's the Hawkins House, the Key Wing, and the Haley building, all downtown Rogers by Las Palmas. Mm-hmm. But they started a foundation, which is completely separate to secure the future. Honestly, the motto of the foundation is to preserve the past, mm-hmm. Support the present, and secure the future of the museum.
Okay. So promote the past.
Preserve the past. Promote the future. Promote the present.
Something in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
Promote the present, secure the future. Got it. Okay.
So it's like,
and you just had an event.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago.
There's a new exhibit, and we just had a kickoff party for that. Mm-hmm. And it's about alcohol in the Ozarks, and you don't want to miss it. So it's about prohibition, how things got started in this area, like moonshine, whatever you want to learn about. History of alcohol in the Ozarks.
But you had to be a member,
yes,
right, to attend?
Yes, you had to.
But a membership is only $35?
That's $20 for an individual.
Oh, okay.
Like,
see, I butchered it.
Steal.
Yes.
And $30 for your family.
Okay.
And then there's several other levels. You definitely want to be a friend of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my current client right now. And here's the reason I am loving working with them. There is so much potential. Mm-hmm. Like, the museum is... There are so many.
You have just totally changed right now, the last 30 seconds. Like, you're just beaming.
It's easier to talk about
someone else than yourself. Yes.
But there's the museum is a wonderful place, and there's so much potential to support it. And that foundation, I'm enjoying working with them, showing them that people, once they are aware and connected and are a part, they will support that museum.
What's your favorite artifact at the museum?
Oh, goodness.
I assume it has artifacts. I will throw myself right under the bus, having not been in it yet.
I'm a little...
But you've held some events, and I'm like real frustrated I haven't been able to go.
The one that I'm most partial to is there's a Rotary.
Oh, because you are a big Rotarian and past president,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. And our club was started in 1917.
Okay.
And so the Rotary Club was the chamber before the chamber.
Oh, your specific club. Oh, that's a big deal.
Yes. So we have an exhibit at the museum talking about those years, and then honoring Dick Daniel, who was the president of Hayes.
Yes. And is that the award that is given out every summer now? Okay.
Yep. So I'm partial to that exhibit, but like there's an old jail cell, there's an old stagecoach. It's a great place to take your kids.
And what is it physically in? Is this like it's an old building that's been redone, and it has a glass brick wall. Right. I can recall. Does the building hold significance?
I think it was like a car dealership.
Okay.
But I think it also had tractors too, because somebody talked about going there to climb on their uncle's tractor. And,
okay.
But then it was the Morning News.
Oh, wow.
The newspaper building.
Okay.
So that's probably what a lot of you will remember is the Morning News was on 2nd Street. That is the Haley building. Oh. And now it is a museum.
And so you just had an event a couple weeks ago because of the new exhibit.
Yes, it's called Last Call.
Oh, that's cute. That's fantastic.
Last Call. Yeah. So we had.
Do you have more planned for 24?
Yes. Now, the museum website has a ton of activities. The foundation is the fundraising site.
Right.
and they have their fundraiser in September.
Okay.
And it is a tasting.
I was going to say, I feel like it was bourbon or
it's called
or something tasty.
Historical Spirits.
Something around an apple.
Last year it was apple blossom.
Okay.
Or apple brandy.
Apple brandy, yes.
As the exhibit was the Apple Blossom Festival that used to be in Rogers. This year it'll probably be like a bourbon whiskey. We're not sure yet, but it's called Historical Spirits. So it'll be some sort of spirit.
Does it take place in October to kind of go with the spirit, like spirit and spirit?
Well, I thought that
I can't remember,
but it's in September.
Okay, I lied. I'm sorry. I should know these things.
But it's in September, and it's really more about historical. So we'll have a mixologist from Siloam Springs. Her name, she came last year. Her name is Angela Bolt, and she comes up with the concoctions and then tells the history of like I'm hoping we're going to get a whole thing about prohibition and what kinds.
Will the exhibit still be there?
Yeah, the exhibit goes all the way to November.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
and it happens there. Are you getting? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
We have, because the foundation's separate from the museum. We try to have our events separate.
Right.
But the preview party was to kick off
and it was in the museum.
It was in the museum.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's not enough space for all of it.
It's small.
So we're thinking about having it at the farm, which is a new venue.
Oh, it's a new venue.
Over there.
Another nonprofit you're involved with had an event there.
Yes.
Mercy Health Foundation.
Yes.
Women with a Mission. That'll be another podcast. Yeah. Maybe we should have a podcast with just several members to all talk about that.
Yes. That's another one of my favorite things.
Yes, I do have a passion for that.
Yeah.
And then one more passion is the Children's Advocacy Center. You're on the board in Little Rock.
Yes.
Right? Or the state?
Yes. Children's Advocacy Centers of Arkansas.
Okay.
And very passionate about that. We are so blessed in Northwest Arkansas. We have 2 centers, one in Washington County, one in Benton County. And both are dear friends. Elizabeth Shackelford is the
different names
director at Washington County. Natalie Tibbs is in Benton County. Yes, they're different names, but and I know we're in this whole thing about collaboration, and they are collaborating. Mm-hmm. They do collaborate.
They all fall under the umbrella, but they both, right?
Yes. They can't merge because the law enforcement down there, the law enforcement up here, there are too many kids, which is a sad thing. But we need all hands on deck. It's not an idea that they could just merge and be one.
Oh, that's good. I never knew that.
We need both locations because Washington County deputies, Benton County deputies, but also, they serve like Washington County and a little south. Benton County does west and north, so we need both centers. But
I look forward to the day it's all gone.
I do too.
And you don't sit on that board anymore because it doesn't exist.
And the awareness of it all has been such a enlightening for me, although heartbreaking.
But didn't you join it on a whim, kind of?
Well,
It's an interesting story.
I was just asked, would you consider it? And I thought, well, yeah, I'm got this whole new thing. I should have time to be able to go to Little Rock now. And so I interviewed for the position, the board position. And the more I learned, the more I thought people need to know such a complicated, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, terrible, awful, horrible thing to what these centers do is so positive and so many resources for so many families and children who've been through the worst thing they could possibly imagine, to get to go to a place where the child isn't put through anything extra than the trauma they've already gone.
One-stop shop to get
one-stop shop. Their interview, their exam, their therapy, the recovery, their families are helped and served, supplies that they might need, groceries, whatever. It's all there at the center, and it's all developed and made on a child's level, so they never feel like more intimidation and the whole thing is because they used to go from the police to the hospital, and the story then gets changed, or they start thinking that maybe they shouldn't have said anything, or this is the way. And if more people understood that, And the whole goal for the state is to make sure that there is a center 30 miles from every child.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was going to bring it back to that of like you sit on it at a state level. And so the state level operates differently than the local center.
Right. So it's called the state chapter. And so we are the support, the mothership to help assist each center in Arkansas with their, trying to find their funding, trying to learn. We try to help them with their fundraising or teach them how to fundraise.
Do you know anyone that can help with that?
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. And so I asked Clark.
Oh, another one of our friends. Clark Allison with Mercy.
But yes, so they're there for all the legal stuff, the bills, the legislative stuff, all of that. That's where the state chapter is so helpful to help with.
Have you witnessed any of that stuff on the floor?
Not on the floor.
Okay.
No. But there have been a couple of times we have all been at the ready on our Zoom waiting to know who we need to email or what we need to say or how we, do we need to vote to do this? Or is this bad? Or what do we need to tell people? The board members have been at the ready with the main key people there on the floor.
And how many of you board members are here in Northwest Arkansas?
Right now, we're working on this.
Okay.
We've got me and Clark Allison and Susan Hutchinson.
Okay.
Stephanie Morris. We've got 4 from up here right now, which is not normally we don't want that many from one part.
I'm like,
that
sounds like a big number for our small corner.
COVID kind of messed up our board terms and we smoothed them and, so because we lost so much time there. But Susan and I roll off this summer.
Okay. Because you've been on it for a few years.
And I'm not sure when Stephanie, but anyway, we've got a nominating meeting.
Yes.
Because we need to figure out so we can get some new faces from other parts of the state.
Okay. But that's got to be challenging.
It is.
Because you're like, I don't know anyone in Timbuktu County.
Like, I did get lucky because Jonesboro is, that's where I was born and raised. So they needed somebody with financial. And my friend Tammy.
Yes.
She's a CPA in Jonesboro.
Okay. Oh, Tammy.
So Tammy, and now we get to see each other and
fantastic.
And serve together. And that's been so awesome.
Oh, so
a girl, one of my best friends from high school, and now we get to be on the board together.
I love this.
Just because she's
full circle. Just because of where she lives.
Yeah.
And the fact that
the
education.
Yes, CPA.
That one helps.
Yeah.
So I love this.
That's my board service, and I'm passionate about AFP. We could go on and on about all the things I'm passionate about. But
I know we could. Well, you have.
But learning to say no is something that I've gotten better at. Still don't have it mastered.
I don't have it mastered, and I'm okay with that. Because I've gone from I always say yes, I don't want to say no, to people just hammering on me of you got to say no. And I'm like, yes, but don't say no just for the sake of saying no of everyone's telling me I need to say no. I am very proud to be a yes person. I do know my limits and I do shut down, and my family does get the repercussions of that. But I want people to know they can always come to me. I want to be that open door, and I want to hug you, and I want to try and solve the problems for you. And I want to be a yes.
I want to be that person that knows the thing or can connect you to the person. Or I
want to be your dog connector. Yes.
And I don't know why I do that, but I do.
Yes.
I want to.
I'm not doing it on the ground.
I want to be the person that says, when you have a C-section, stand all the way up. Trust
I want
me.
to be that I am that person because you made me that person, but I want to be the dot connector. I don't want to be the boots on the ground doing the work at the CAC, for example. That I don't have the mental wherewithal to be able to do that. Another one of our dear friends who we'll see soon, Linda Phillips with the Children's Shelter, when she makes me have to have a meeting out there, I am the crankiest human. I'm like, I will raise money for you. Don't make me come out here. You all do amazing. I'm just not a boot. Everyone has to know their place, right? I'm not a boots on the ground person. I'm a hugger and a dot connector, and I will find a way to make you some money. while trying to make myself some money and use some money too. Oh, we got to monetize it because without that, the bills are not paid.
Exactly.
Allison, you were my first guest. Thank you so much. I could cry because this was so easy.
So easy.
And I hope it wasn't boring
my
for everyone
only
out there.
regret is that I didn't know we were going to be on camera. I heard podcasts, so I wore jeans, but
you look cute.
I wanted to look, fresh and springy on this 40-degree day.
I know. And we blend.
Yes, we do.
I mean, I kind of am like it's probably like a green screen for me. Like I'm just this bobbling head at this point. But thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes.
And I hope I get to come back again.
You will absolutely come back
another time.
Yes.
Or maybe I'll start my own and you'll be my first guest.
How fun would that be? I know some really great people at podcastvideos.com that can help you.
Yay.
So that's all we have for today, but thank you so much. Remember, 3W stands for the who, what, where, and we are always inspiring a culture of giving.